Hello!
Hello.
It's Living Corpse,
And Kuni.
and we're just gonna do a little vlog or podcast. I haven't quite made up my mind on it yet. You know, whether I want this to be like a.
It's mostly audio, so it's more like a podcast.
Yeah, but I haven't quite made up my mind whether I want this to be like a sort of like, a sort of like a monthly thing or just a once in a while thing like a vlog. So today's subject, fighting games, and
Today's basically we're talking about DLC and the controversy of guest fighters
crossovers.
in crossovers.
Yeah. So, where do you want to start?
Well, I think one of the most major points that pissed me off the most about not just fighting games and any game, if it involves any game and there's DLC for it, no one, not a single person in the world has the right to complain about it. Not one person. Because no one is forcing you to buy it. It's DLC. It is optional. No game is going to make a DLC where you can't play the game without it. Now, some games may make it where you can't play with other people, but you can still play with the people that don't have it. It's not required. It's optional, and it's for your enjoyment. You don't want a new DLC character? Like Freddy. Freddy's coming out. He's a guest character. And right now, the fandom is split. Half of them are like, fuck no, it's going to ruin the game. No, it's not. It's not going to ruin the game for you if you don't buy it. How
is one character going to ruin a game?
How is he going to ruin the game for you if you don't buy him? If you don't buy him, Freddy Krueger's not there. He won't ruin the game for you.
No, seriously, how is one character going to ruin the game? I mean...
Hell, even if the character was in the game from the beginning, like Kratos, no one ever said you had to play as Kratos. No one said you had to play as... You can let him sit there. That's it. Let him sit there.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of that, some of the controversy with DLC isn't so much that they don't want it. Sometimes it's the matter that they want it, and it's like, oh, this character should have been in the this item or character should have been in here already. Why do I have to pay an extra $5 for just to add a character in a game that I already paid for and they should have been in there already? Like Rain. People, I kind of agree with them. Rain should have been in there from the get-go.
See, now I understand that. But the thing you have to remember is a game company has a set time. If they don't have enough time to get all the characters they want from the beginning in, they're going to put them in later. And this is one thing. Let me just say one quick thing. When I hate this, a game company is finishing a game, okay? Let's say there's like a month or two left before the game comes out, right? By this point, the game is done. They're not adding any more features, all right? They're just fine-tuning a couple little things. But the game is basically done. And they announce a DLC. And everyone is up in arms saying, oh, the game's not even out, you guys are already announcing DLC. That stuff just on the disc. We're just paying for shit that's on the disc. No, you're not. The game is done, and they came up with more ideas after they finished, and they don't have time to put it on the disc. So they're making DLC for you guys to get after because they didn't have time yet. So now you get it. You're getting more content. They like us. Sure, they're doing it for the money, but that's a business. That's how businesses run. They need money. So they bring DLC out of stuff they thought of that the fans might want. That's how it works. So shut the fuck up.
Wow, this vlog turned very angry very quick.
I am a huge supporter of DLC. I love when games bring DLC out. All right? When I heard Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was coming out, I shit myself. Not in anger, but in absolute joy. It was the happiest part of that day for me. That whole day was just pure excitement, trying to figure out what they added to the game. And so far, I've had one disappointment. Out of 12 new characters, one disappointment. That's good.
Wow.
11 new characters I actually want in the game. I don't know much about Virgil, but he still looks fun.
Oh, hold on. Yeah. I'm actually playing Mortal Kombat while we're bitching about Mortal Kombat.
Well, this isn't really a Mortal Kombat blog. It's more.
It involves it.
Yeah, it's part of the subject, but this isn't.
Well, it really involves fighting games in general, but what sparked me to make this vlog was the bitching about Freddy and Mortal Kombat, and actually,
yeah, he is the biggest topic of the week right now.
I was actually kind of hoping to make this like a normal vlog or podcast where it's like swearings to a minimum and angers to a minimum. But
that ain't gonna happen if you're talking about DLC with me.
I guess that kind of went out the window as soon as we opened the subject on DLCs, and Kuni went on a rampage.
I'm done with that. I just wanted to post my opinion. That's how I feel about DLC.
Well, to be truthful, I probably would have ruined it first if we talked about Freddy instead, because I feel strongly about that. I mean, yeah, well, I'll get back to that.
We can start talking about Freddy now.
Well, I mean, still, before we do that, going back to the DLCs, one complaint, and it's kind of a legit complaint I heard, people argue, well, if they couldn't fit them in there before, they should have just, extended the development time to put more, to put the stuff in there.
It doesn't always work that way, though.
Yeah,
sometimes they don't have the liberty to do that. The only time,
it doesn't always work.
Sometimes if they find a game-breaking bug, that's when games get delayed. Not because they want more time, it's because they found something that needs more time, and it gives them time to do some other tweaks or something. But most of the time, it's not enough time.
Ugly.
It's not enough time to make it add a new character and all that stuff.
Yeah. Actually, just a quick side note. Well, I've complained about the, they got a little carried away with trying to make the female characters sexy in Mortal Kombat 9. For Scarlet, I'm actually fine with it because, well, she's one of the bad guys. I mean, just go on TV tropes. It's kind of the rule of like female villains, like. The less clothing she wears, the more evil she is, I guess.
So Ivy's the most evil person in Soul Calibur?
Well, she's more neutral than anything.
I never really thought...
She's neutral.
Her dad is evil, but I never thought Ivy was really evil. She's got a dark side to her, but I don't think she's evil.
Well, she's more neutral than anything. I mean, she'll definitely attack anything that gets in her way. No, but I mean, like, Scarlet, it's like... Scarlet seems to be, like, the exception in Mortal Kombat, where I'm like, you know what? You know what? They could have made her naked, and it still would have been too much clothing, because she's freaking evil! She really is! Not to mention, when you get down to it, she's not really a female. She's more of an it. She's just blood, basically. She could have easily just... Or rather, it could have just easily chosen to disguise itself as a male ninja as it did a female, Yeah,
it just does it so it knows that it can distract its opponent.
Yeah.
That's how
it probably did that. It probably made a smart move by doing that, knowing that, a sexist enemy is more likely to hesitate to kill a female and thus end up making a mistake and getting themselves killed. We're getting sidetracked by boobs and ass. Yeah, but going back to the DLCs, yeah, like, I understand that, I see where both sides are coming from, because sometimes they could have just asked for more development time, and they could have easily put that stuff in there instead of making it a DLC, and they clearly just did that on purpose just to make a quick buck. Yeah, and I see where the consumer's coming from, especially in this economy, where it's like, I just want to pay for my game once. I don't want to have to keep paying just to get more stuff for the same game, because it feels like you're paying for the same game, like maybe not as much, but you're still paying money for a game where you feel like you should have already had all this stuff. But then there are times where it's like you said, they ask for more time and their publisher says, no, we have to get this out the window now. So they're pretty much forced to either just drop it, or just drop the stuff they wanted to put in there, or just make it a downloadable thing for later on.
Which I like, because some companies, they'll have what was it? Primal Rage 2. That game, when that game was, or when they were actually just updating it over and over. They actually had finished models for 2 new characters for their next part of the game.
And the game got canceled.
Like, they still could have added it. They said, we just need a little more time. Can we just add these? We're almost done with them. And they said, sorry, no, we can't let you do that. So they tried making a sequel.
And then the sequel got canceled.
Yeah.
Like, and it had like 2 new characters that were going to be put in there.
The one of them I hated because it was just a saber-tooth tiger, but the other one was a fucking bone dragon, and it looked awesome for its time.
She gonna bone you. See what I did there?
Yeah.
And then some of the DLCs, I actually feel like it works better as a DLC than it does as something that was there from the start. Like DLCs that are like just related to like holidays, just for shits and giggles. Like
Saints Row.
Like a Halloween DLC, Like,
Saints Row has a Christmas DLC where you can run around in a Santa Claus suit on
I like that. Like stuff like that. It's like it can only really work if it's a downloadable thing and it's released on a certain time. And I think it also really works if it's for free, because a lot of you gotta remember, guys, not every DLC requires money. There's some good, admittedly, most DLCs that are free are just, they're just cheap things that don't change anything, like
clothes.
They're just clothes, like they don't change anything. But sometimes they'll throw you a bone once in a while. They'll give you a free DLC that actually affects the gameplay and is actually fun. It's more than just a visual change.
For Saints Row the Third, there's a new DLC coming out called Professor Genki's Hyperordinary Pre-Order Pack.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free with anyone who pre-orders the game. You're not paying more money for it. It just means that you put money down early. You're still paying the same amount for the game as if you were to buy it on the first day. And you get a new costume, which isn't much of a game changer, but it still looks awesome. And then you get a new vehicle, which vehicles, those do take time to make.
Uh-oh, Kenshi's pissed.
And then the biggest thing about the game is weapons. They give you a free weapon. And not just a friggin' rematched gun, or not just a skin gun that shoots bullets. No, this thing actually has a unique thing. It shoots fucking octopuses that attach to people's heads and controls them. That's unique. And it actually takes time to make that stuff, and we're getting it for free.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. Like, honestly, I couldn't give less of a shit about, like, costume things. Exception being Mortal Kombat. Like, I would get everything.
Yeah, but all their costumes, they've only had one paid costume pack, and that's only because it came with fatalities.
Yeah.
Those take time to a lot of money to make. So, I understand that one being paid. But all the other ones, it's just skins. So they gave them to us for free.
Also, sometimes DLCs are, even, like... I'm pretty much looking at both sides of the argument, and sometimes paying for DLCs, while you feel like you're being jumped, sometimes it's a good thing. Like, it ensures, like, it might help the company not end up being bankrupt for whatever.
Yeah, you buy their DLC, it gives them more money to keep going.
And also, DLCs are also sort of a way to, give, it's the way to make a lot of people nowadays, they'll just play a game for like a month. Not even that. Sometimes they'll just play it for a week and then just stop playing it.
I have so many games where I've done that. Like, their games are fun as hell, but once you beat it, it's like it's the same stuff over and over.
Yeah.
Like Portal.
So like the DLCs, they make a game's life last longer than a week. It gives people something to. It gives them something to It pretty much makes the game last longer. It gives people more reason to play the game longer instead of just rushing through it and then dropping it to play something else. And it gives the developer more time to work on a sequel and more money for the sequels, stuff like that. I kind of so I really think it's a gray area, It really just depends on the DLC, how much you're paying, why they're doing it, and how it affects both parties, the consumer and the developer.
Like, here's a good example, all right? I just bought Dante's Inferno last night, and I got both the DLCs for it. Now, both DLCs are completely different. One is, like you said, a bad DLC. A DLC that shouldn't even exist. Then the other DLC is a DLC that it makes the game last longer. It gives you something to do to keep the game more fun. There's the Dark Forest DLC. They cost $5. You're paying $5 to play 3 minutes. 3-minute mission, and then you never want to touch it again because it was so bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but then the other DLC is actually a game creator. You can create your own challenges, create your own armies to fight against, and it gives you hours and hours and hours of gameplay, and it costs the same amount.
Scarlett's got a cute butt.
So, wow, take a serious moment and just fuck it up.
I had to ruin it somehow.
But you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Shitty DLC for $5 that gives you 3 minutes to 10 minutes of gameplay. 10 minutes if you suck. I beat it in 3 minutes.
Wow.
And the other DLC, I'm still playing it, and it's fun. And I paid the same amount. That's good DLC. It keeps the game going.
Yeah.
And wow, he is kicking your ass.
I was kicking his ass earlier. I interrupted his teleport with, yep, you guessed it, my teleport. I love doing that shit like that.
Yeah. Alright, back on subject.
No, I think we pretty much said everything there can be said about DLCs.
Yeah, it's a big area, and there's a lot of debate about it. But like I said in the very beginning, they are optional. If you don't like it, don't go bitching about it. If you like it, support it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, yeah, really, if people ask me if I'm in support of DLCs or against it, I just respond with, it depends.
It depends on what the DLC actually is.
And if it's worth it, or if it's free, you know? Like, there are some things where it's like, they demand money for it, and it's like, no, I should not be paying money for this. This should be for free. And then there's some things where they give it for free, and it's like,
I would have paid money.
I would have paid money for that bit. Okay, this is a nice bonus.
Yeah, they do that there's a lot of games that do that.
Yeah.
Alright, now...
Want to talk about crossovers?
Yeah. Alright, now let's start with the granddaddy of them all. Soul Calibur. That one is a great... That one is the best...
No, that's more of a guest fighter thing. Crossover...
Oh yeah, you're just doing cross... I'm talking
about like actual crossovers where it's
okay, yeah, let's do crossovers. Then we'll talk about guest characters in any game, whether it be DLC or there from the beginning.
Like Street Fighter versus Tekken.
Yeah, that's a good example. Tell you the truth, alright, Street Fighter, I love some of the characters. Tekken, I never played Tekken. I played one Tekken game.
I've never played
Tekken, so I'm not going to be the greatest judge on this particular game, but the one thing I love about the cross games is Tekken and Street Fighter. Whatever one you like more, if you like the gameplay of Street Fighter, then you can buy Street Fighter X Tekken. If you like Tekken more, you can buy Tekken X Street Fighter. That is, yes, okay, some people may see that as, oh, they're just doing that to get more money. No, they are giving you two completely different games for your playstyle.
So yeah, they pretty much satisfy both fans.
And they don't have the same characters either. They have different characters for each game.
And the funny thing is, people are still going to bitch about it because they're like, oh, they're trying to make more money. And it's like, well, no shit, it's a business.
Yeah, they got to make more money or they'll be
otherwise,
bankrupt.
they got to make more, like, understandably, yeah, it's kind of bullshit if they're trying to rip you off, but it's like...
I don't see it as this one being ripping people off on this one.
Yeah, and not to mention, they have to make money somehow, or else it's like, you know, how do you think they make the games that you guys like to play? You know, if they don't do this, they can't make the games you like.
Yeah, so that one is nice. But, and now, this is going to be a big one. Street Fighter. Or no, Sony. I starts with an S. I got my head mixed up. Sony, they have the dickest scheme when it comes to any of their games. And this is going along with the guest fighter shit. They love to make sure that they are the only ones to receive something.
You know what? I should have probably, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I probably should have said exclusive as well. Because exclusives are bullshit.
Exclusives? Now, exclusives aren't bullshit. It's when only one system gets it exclusive. Even if they're the only ones who get that character. For instance, Kratos in Mortal Kombat. I understand. Kratos is owned by Sony, so only Sony can get him.
It's still
But
bullshit.
at least give an Xbox character to the Xbox players. Like, give us Ryu Hayabusa. He's an Xbox exclusive. Well, he was an Xbox exclusive character. He still kind of is, because he's owned by Microsoft.
Well, now he's going to be on Nintendo.
I know, but still, he's still mostly owned by Microsoft and Team Ninja. So make him a friggin'. He's a ninja and he's bloody. He is perfect for Mortal Kombat. He could have been our exclusive. Or at least, they could have at least given us something. And then on Tekken X Street Fighter, Street Fighter X Tekken, if you play on the PlayStation Vita and probably the PS3, I haven't heard it on the PS3 yet, PlayStation Vita, you can play as Cole McGrath.
Yeah.
But we don't get anything on Tekken or Street Fighter or anything. We don't get shit. We get the same characters. They get everything plus an extra.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to other ones. You got the freaking Batman and Spider-Man 3 with Sony. And I'm sure there's more. They've done tons of shit that pisses me off.
Oh.
And
Scarlet got killed.
And here's another thing. The PlayStation people, they tell us, oh, don't bitch about it. You guys got...
I guarantee you if the Xbox got an exclusive, the PS3 people would be bitching.
Listen. This is the only time Xbox has ever done anything like that. And it's not even as bad. When it comes to Call of Duty, we get the maps a month early. Yes, we paid to get them early. But did that mean, no, you can't have them at all, Sony? We still let them get it. We just get it a little early. We don't completely fuck them over.
Yeah, like the Joker thing.
Yeah, they got Joker. We didn't get shit.
They actually tried to pull that bullshit with Darth Vader for Soul Calibur 3.
If you look it up, Darth Vader was originally going to be PS3 exclusive, and we weren't never going to get him. But Namco wasn't going to allow it, and Namco, being the nice people they are, let us get him.
Either Namco or George Lucas. Either or.
Yeah. And my phone's ringing.
Damn it.
And
hold on, people.
It's my sister. It's okay. Don't need to cut out. Hey, I'm sorry for being loud.
Yeah.
No, it's not room service.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's your brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a funny movie. I'm in the middle of a podcast. It's a very good movie. It's really dumb, but it's funny. All right, bye.
What movie?
Dinner for Schmucks. It's one of those. It's a movie that makes you facepalm. I loved it. It was
had
good.
no interest.
Well, you aren't really much of a comedy person.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but you're a lot less. You're more of the horror person than anything.
Well, actually, even with horror,
horror and sci-fi.
Even with horror and sci-fi, you tend to lean more towards the comedy. I tend to lean towards more of the, oh shit, we gotta stop this thing or the world's gonna end.
I do like those too. I'm one of those movie critics where I like a majority of movies.
Yeah, trust me, people. He'll, like, any movie you bitch about, odds are likely he loves it. Yeah. He's like a reverse cinema snob. He's like the cinema lover.
I love movies. Like, I can usually find the good in movies. It could be the most horrible movie ever, and I'll still find a small grain of something good.
Except for the animated Titanic movie and the other animated Titanic movie.
Those were bad. Yes.
And we didn't even watch them. We just saw the Nostalgia Critics review of them, and it's like, oh god, just watching his review of it's painful.
I'm a person that loves loves media. Let me tell you this right now. This may not come to a shock to anyone who's subscribed. Okay, that's tongue twisted for me, I guess.
Subscribe.
Anyone subscribed to my channel? I'm a brony. All right?
A what?
A brony.
I don't know.
You don't need to know. Anyone who's a brony listening, they know what I am.
I don't understand.
You don't need to know.
I'm confused.
You've seen the video, you know.
I am confused and frightened.
All right?
I am very confused.
I find the good in everything. I was one of those people that watched...
So you're Jesus Christ, movie version.
I guess you could say that.
You find the good in the most evil, satanic movie.
Alright. But,
well, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, okay, so what was I talking about?
We were talking about crossovers.
Yeah, okay, I was talking about the bitchness of Sony. I'm done with that, though.
The exclusives, yeah, we were talking about the exclusives. Thank God! I don't know if it was Lucas or Namco or both, but
I'm sure it was Namco.
Thank God they put their foot down and said, no, Darth Vader is not going to be exclusive to the PS3. Okay, it's bullshit that, you guys get Yoda after the... It's bullshit you guys get to download Yoda, but Xbox doesn't get It's bullshit. You guys get the download Yoda on the PS3, but Xbox doesn't get the download Darth Vader.
Yeah. Tell you the truth, though, Darth Vader kind of sucked. Yoda was a better character, but I am glad that we did eventually get him. He was fun to play with a little bit and go through the story once, but I actually went through with Yoda and Starkiller. I've gone through hundreds of times. I love Starkiller. He's like the greatest thing to come out of Star Wars in the world. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, tell him, viewer. I mean,
he's playing Cyber Sub-Zero versus Scorpion, which is...
Yeah, the first opponent they pulled up was Scorpion. I just find that funny.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, the exclusive. What's another thing? Exclusives.
Just exclusives in general can be bullshit.
I'm trying to think of another game that does exclusives. What's it called? I can't think of it. Sony's. Whenever I think of exclusives, all I can ever think of is
the bullshit with Sony.
Sony's bullshit. Because Microsoft, I'm sure there's always exclusive games. That's always going to happen, and there's nothing you can do about it, and I'm fine with it. I'm an Xbox person. I've been playing Xbox ever since Xbox came out. All right? I never had a PS2, never had a PS3. I've had every single major console for Nintendo except for the last one. I never owned a Wii. And freaking...
Fuck the Wii.
I'm just saying, that's the only one I never owned.
I own the Wii. It fucking sucks.
I know. I'm just saying, that's the only one I've never owned.
Oh, damn it.
Friggin', I'm okay with the consoles having their own exclusives. It gives you a reason for them to actually play. But friggin'...
I like it when exclusives are only exclusive for like a certain amount of time, and
limited time exclusives.
And then later on, the other console that didn't get that exclusive can download it. Kind of like with the Darth Vader and Yoda thing. Like, but that almost didn't happen because of Sony being dicks.
But the thing is, though, when you hear something's a limited time exclusive, it's like, yeah, you're kind of bummed that you don't get it right away if you're on the opposite system, but you can feel the joy of knowing you're gonna get it in the future. It's like, yeah, I can't get it now, but I will get it. As long as I'm still playing that game at the time, I'm fine with it. Now, if if they did like what Soul Calibur did, the Darth Vader thing took forever to come out. I think it was almost a year before it came out.
Wow, that's...
Yeah, each game had their own exclusives for a year. And then on the same day, they brought the DLCs out for each other.
Wow, that is...
But we still eventually got them, and thankfully, I still had my copy of Soul Calibur 4, because I'm a hoarder. If you look, you guys can't see it right now, but I have a stack of Xbox games that are 20 tall, and I'm getting 6 more in November. So, I'm a hoarder. So, chances are I'm going to be able to get any DLCs that come out.
Yeah, he's got a freaking bust of Duke Nukem up there.
Yeah, I got statues of the Duke Nukem, and I got the Legendary Edition still. I even got the original box.
Yeah.
So, I'm that kind of person.
Yeah. Actually, oh, crap. Going back to DLCs, I guarantee you, if, Mortal Kombat's one of the games where I would definitely get all the DLCs.
Because they're characters. They actually give you something.
If they ever made a good Godzilla game, and I mean a Godzilla game that's not just good for a Godzilla game. I mean just good for a game, any game. But it's Godzilla. It just happens to be Godzilla. I'm getting every freaking DLC, especially if it has like Zone Fighter or Monster X.
Let me tell you right now, if it's on the Xbox, I don't care if it sucks. All right, they could re-release Save the Earth, which apparently, according to you, sucked. I never played it, but according to you, sucked. They could bring that out for Xbox. I would buy it.
Actually, I think Godzilla Unleashed would have worked so much better on the Xbox.
If you could actually use a controller.
I think it would have brought out so much of its potential.
Yeah, better graphics, more time with more money for the publishers.
Man, I'm rusty with Cyber Sub-Zero. I haven't done a single fatality.
Freaking, I don't know, there's just so much that people can do. They just don't. Okay, we're getting sidetracked again, talking about games that don't even exist.
Or they do exist and they suck.
Yeah. I will say, though, before I go back on topic, Destroy All Monsters Melee for the Xbox,
It had
was
freaking Kiru.
It had Kiru.
It had like a planet we got to fight on.
And it had the boxing ring. I don't care what anyone says. I love fighting in the boxing ring. It adds nostalgia or some shit. It just I feel good fighting.
It adds the whole goofiness of Godzilla.
I feel like I'm playing like 60s Godzilla or whatever the
70s, yeah.
The one where he's all fucking like martial arts and shit. I feel like I'm playing that friggin' monsters.
Yeah, I just find it ridiculous we never got Planet X, like we did in one of the older games, but, that was for the Turbo Duel, and it's like, I'm not going to waste $30 just to...
Wasn't Planet X in Surround Monsters Melee for the Xbox?
No.
I could have sworn that was the destroyed planet.
No, that was the Culex planet.
Oh.
I mean, not the Culex, that was the oh, crap, I forgot what they're called in the Godzilla
We're
game.
being all nerdy now.
The Vortec. The Vortec, they were never in any
but the
film.
planet, I think the stage was still called Planet X.
No, it's called the Vortec Homeworld, but nonetheless, you could just substitute it for Planet X,
It was a planet that looked like it was being destroyed. There was lava and volcanoes shooting up everywhere.
Oh yeah, I've seen people say, "Geez, no wonder why the Exilians." I mean, no wonder why the God. I'm getting my aliens mixed up. There are too many damn aliens in the Godzilla verse. Well, whatever.
Okay. Back on topic.
We're talking about exclusives. We're done with that.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean,
right.
the other subjects touch on that. So
let's go back to crossovers.
Crossovers,
in my opinion, most crossovers are good.
Yeah, most of them are good.
Marvel vs. Capcom being the greatest crossovers, in my opinion. My opinion. I love them. I did not like the older ones, but 2, 3, and Ultimate, I love them. Even though I haven't played Ultimate yet.
Yeah.
Tekken X Street Fighter, I'm not a fan of... I did not like Street Fighter 4. I'm one of those people. Alright? I did not like Street Fighter 4. Not because it was difficult, it's just it wasn't my style of game. That's just what it was. So Tekken X Street Fighter, I'm not gonna... Yeah, I know, you're striking the pose.
Be as stealthy as the night, and as deadly as the dawn.
Kind of
funny coming from a bunch of Technicolor ninjas.
I know you can't see what he's doing, but he's basically just...
Yeah, I'm doing what Cyber Sub-Zero does when you do his brain freeze fatality. He does that pose that Smoke and normal Sub-Zero did in their chapter when they're reciting their code of honor.
Yeah, okay. So that crossover game, I'm not saying it's bad. It's not a game I'm gonna be playing. All right, but
he's kind of like me. We're not like hardcore Street Fighter. We're more casual. Like we're not gonna play it. We'll play it. Just don't expect us to know everybody in the whole story because we're not like
like when it comes to Tekken, I only know one person from Tekken, Hayachi. He's the only person I really know. And then for Street Fighter, a handful. I know the faces. I know freaking Ryu, Ken, Dalsim, E-Honda. I know the main people from the first few games, but then they bring out people from Street Fighter 4, and I don't know them. And let me tell you right now, C. Viper's a bitch. Jury kills C. Viper.
Jerry should have been in Marvel vs. Capcom.
Should have, yes.
She's the one that's over the top, not C. Viper. And what is Marvel vs. Capcom all about? Over the top characters fighting each other.
Nemesis!
Oh, definitely over the top. You know what his catchphrase is.
Yeah.
Stars. He's obsessed with stars.
That's actually one of his openings I heard. He just walks in and he's like, stars. But that's only if you're fighting a stars member. Like, you have to be fighting Chris or Wesker. Wait, was Jill in stars?
Yeah, Jill's a stars member.
Yeah, so he would say it against Jill. No, he wouldn't say it against Jill because the Jill in the game, unless they have a stars costume Jill, but it wouldn't matter because she would still be doing all the fucking super poses.
I'm pretty sure if Nemesis was still around, he would still recognize her as a member of Stars.
Member of Stars, yeah.
Even though Stars is no longer existent.
Yeah, so he'd probably still call Jill Stars, but I'm not counting on it. So yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't know, there's gonna be some interesting shit. What's other crossovers that came out? I don't know. This does count because it is a crossover. I want to know how people feel about Alien versus Predator.
Now that crossover's existed since forever.
Yes, that has existed for a long time. But in my opinion, it's one of the purest crossovers. It's simple: 2 monsters versus humans,
and each other.
Yeah, Well, yeah, but everyone knows it's Alien versus Predator. And then it's one of the few
no, they're having a tea party and
I've
while
seen
playing
that.
chess. They're having
I've
a tea
seen
party
those.
while playing chess. No, they're playing poker, and Predator lost, so he has to strip. Actually,
and I'm one of those nerds.
Oh
I know
crap!
the real
I just remembered they did that in Robot Chicken, where Predator and Alien are dating.
Yeah, and at the end, it's like they go to kiss, and Alien's like, no means no, and stabs him in the freaking cheek, and he does the freaking bomb thing.
Actually, my mom thinks she knows where they got the second mouth thing from. Eels. Fun fact: eels don't really have a tongue or they really don't have like a muscle to like swallow. They don't have like I don't know what you. I'm guessing esophagus. They don't really have something like that to like swallow. So they just have like a second mouth that grabs on and pulls things in. So she thinks that's where they came up with the second mouth for the xenomorphs.
Yeah. Another thing is, people may not know this, but Predator's names aren't Predator.
Yeah,
it's Yacha.
But I think it's easier for people to just call it Predator.
Oh, here's a hidden crossover, all right? A lot of people may not know this, but back in, I think, the 90s, all right, back when Predator was still sort of new, there was actually a spoof of Predator. It was called DNA. It was basically it was like a sci-fi original movie where it was about these people in a jungle, and there was a creature that could turn invisible, killing people.
Yeah.
And that creature, if you watch the new Predators movie, shows up in Predators.
It's more of a stab than anything.
Yeah, and it gets killed instantly. I just thought that was a really nice thing.
This match is going to confuse me.
Oh god, two Cyber Sub-Zeros.
Two Cyber.
And there's no second costume. It's just a second color.
Maybe he's going to be a slightly darker...
He'll be a different color.
A slightly lighter color or darker color?
We'll find out.
Sort of.
It's a dark blue. It's like a cobalt blue. I think that actually looks a lot cooler.
That should have been his color.
Yeah, that one looks a lot cooler, the second color. All right,
no
back on
pun
topic.
intended.
All right, back on topic.
Cool. Oh, and we're fighting in hell. How ironic.
Yeah, you're both two freeze monsters. So yeah, crossovers.
Some crossovers,
there's not very many bad crossovers.
Yeah, there's, like, I don't know why some people hate crossovers. Like, you know, like, some people just say it's selling out, and it's like...
No, it's two companies working together.
It's like, how is it selling out? They're doing what a lot of fans have been asking for years. They're combining two of, like, their favorite franchises, you know, and having them fight. So, well, you know, I mean, there are bad crossovers, yes, but, I mean, there are also a lot of good crossovers, and it kind of angers me to see people just bash these good crossovers saying, oh, they're just selling out, they're trying to make more money, and again, not that that's not the truth. I mean, it's a business.
That's what they do.
That's what you're supposed to do. I mean, this is no different than me coming into work every day and washing dishes or moving the bouquet tables around just to make $20, you know, an hour. So it's no different than me doing that, you know. Plus, just be glad they're doing something that a lot of you guys have been asking for. You know, like something that I'm sure a lot of you, after a while, probably thought would never happen and would just remain a fan wet dream, you know. I mean, I know Alien vs. Predator, for a while, people thought it was just going to be a comic and video game thing. Then the movies came out. I mean, granted, a lot of people didn't like the movies, but that's a whole nother matter. Let's not get on that.
For me, I love them.
Let's not get on that. Kuni will talk about that for hours.
Yeah. I love those movies.
So, but, yeah, some crossovers, it's kind of weird how some crossovers will work. Like, some crossovers you would never think of doing. It's weird how, when you find out about them, you're like, how the hell is this going to work? And they make it work somehow. Like, best example, Mortal Kombat versus DC. I am not I will be the first to admit I was one of the skeptics. I'm like, how the hell is this going to work?
I still think Marvel would have been a better choice, but
yeah, because they probably would have allowed the fatalities.
It would have been M. It guaranteedly would have been M.
They probably would have allowed fatalities. They probably would have gotten away with the M rating.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Stan Lee would love to see Spider-Man get ripped in half.
oh, Stan Lee's not against Wolverine being burned. He's definitely not against Wolverine being turned into a skeleton.
It would definitely really fuck up the Marvel mythology, but it's magic. Anything can happen.
Not to mention, hey, it's a crossover. It doesn't have to be canon.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It could just be for fun.
I mean, like, it's kind of weird how King Kong versus Godzilla is canon.
And another thing, when it comes to crossovers, it's not always just this company versus this company games. I also really, one of the things I love about crossovers is when a company will, they'll take, like, let's talk about Volition, alright? Oh, that's a weird screensaver. Volition.
Oh, the fair use?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I thought you had the blue screen of death or something. It's like, you have a Mac!
Yeah, I've PC modded it.
That's what I did, except it's different.
Yeah, he did the opposite. He...
Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Alright, but no.
Well, you mentioned it, so kind of too late.
You shut up. Don't listen to that. Volition, alright? They have 2 game franchises. We know that they have Saints Row, and then they have Red Faction. We know that Saints Row is in the past of Red Faction.
Real quick, how is it selling out when some of these crossovers are 2 franchises owned by the same person? I mean, the same company, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, now you can't even call Mortal Kombat versus DC a sellout anymore, because even though it was made while both were separate, now both they're
both owned by Warner Brother.
I mean, at the time when it was made, you know, both franchises were owned by their own deal, but now they're both owned by Warner Brothers. So it's like, now it's kind of like, yeah, they just cross over 2 of their franchises before they were both their franchises, you know?
But yeah, back to what I was saying real quick before I forget everything.
Yeah, we'll forget.
Saints Row and Red Faction. Saints Row is in the past, while Red Faction's in the future. They may be completely different games, but they're the same universe. And one thing I love is, and I'm actually trying to get this to continue. With
Mr. Toots.
Mr. Toots. Alright? In Saints Row 2, there was a DLC, back on the topic of DLC, that added Red Faction gear and vehicles. And right now, I am trying to get Mr. Toots a very awesome and cuddly weapon from Red Faction Armageddon.
He farts rainbows!
That explode in Saints Row, where he belongs. Because I think he should have been there in the beginning. So, yes, this is blatant advertisement, but if you are listening to this, please go to my channel, click on the Mr. Toots video.
And comment.
Like it and comment. I'm not trying to get views. I just want this guy in the game. I have a strong love for this unicorn. I would fuck this unicorn. I know, it's a little...
And he's not even gay.
Who said Mr. Toots is a guy?
Well,
it's just because it's called Mr. Toots.
Okay, but admittedly...
It's very feminine looking.
Well, then again, I'd turn gay for Shorthunter, and I'm not even gay.
So yeah, I'm just saying, please do me that favor and just go and like and comment saying that you support it. The more we get, the more likely this will come up. And once again, I'm not asking for him to be in the base game. It's too late for that because the weapons are already done. They're not making more. But it's DLC. And if you don't like him, you don't need to. No one's forcing you to buy Mr. Toots. He's an option for people who do want him.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Actually, more shameless advertising. As soon as I find out that they're working on a new Godzilla game, can you guys do me a favor? And I haven't made the video yet. I'm saving that for when they actually announce, a new Godzilla game. But can you guys do me a favor and sign this petition to get a character named Zone Fighter in? To get Zone Fighter as a playable character in the game, because Zone Fighter, well, Godzilla, Gigan, and King Ghidorah all showed up as guest characters in the show, so technically Zone Fighter is part of the Godzilla mythologies. Okay, selfless advertising over.
Alright.
Crossovers, yeah, Mortal Kombat versus DC. I just find it ridiculous how a lot of people call it a bad game simply because, it didn't have, fatalities and stuff, and it's like...
It still had fatalities, it just didn't...
It had PG-13 fatalities, it didn't have R-rated fatalities,
yeah.
It had stuff like, you could easily see them getting away with, in a Spider-Man movie, but if they tried it in, say, tried doing it in a movie like, say, The Grudge or something, it's like people would be like, that was a lame kill. It should have had more blood, you know.
Yeah, but at least they still had deaths in the game. Like, they could have easily gone the route of just none at all.
It had a damn good story. That's all that should matter.
Yeah, that was one thing. Mortal Kombat, they're good at making stories, but we're not talking about just Mortal Kombat, because this is about side topics.
Even though Mortal Kombat is what sparked this conversation, sparked the idea to do this thing.
Yeah. So crossovers. What else can we say about that besides the fact that 90% of them are good?
Okay.
Remember, we're talking about video game crossovers. Yeah, we got a little sidetracked with Alien vs Predator, but
and Godzilla versus King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah, but this is mostly about video games, because I can get into the subject of Marvel versus DC for years. So yeah, we're just sticking to games. But
going back. Well, crossovers, one of the easiest way to enjoy them is to just ignore the story most of the times. Ignore the story, because nine times out of 10, the story in a crossover just sucks, and it's like, are you really watching this crossover for the story? No, you're watching this because you get to see, like, two of your favorite franchises go head-to-head and beat the crap out of each other.
I will admit that.
Like, Freddy vs. Jason, I'll admit, it was not a good movie. It was a bad movie.
Story-wise, it sucked.
It had huge continuity errors.
The thing is, though,
it had huge continuity errors in both franchises. It contradicted both franchises in some ways. But you know what? I didn't care. I wanted to see evil versus evil. I wanted to see Jason beat the shit out of Freddy, and I got what I wanted.
The thing is, though, like I said, I'm a person that loves movies. I loved Freddy vs. Jason. I watched it like 30 times. Now, yes, I will admit, story subpar, alright? Very subpar. Not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't good compared to... And I was one of the people that liked Jason X. I know how much people hate that movie, but I liked it.
I've seen clips of it, and I think I would like it not because...
It's a very corny movie.
I think I would like it because it'd be so easy to make fun of it. I'd probably make a riff tracks of it if I didn't keep getting in trouble with YouTube over that. I mean, I think I made like 2 riff tracks. I stopped doing that because YouTube just kept giving me shit for that. And it's like, it's not even the whole movie. It's only 20 minutes of both.
But freaking, what was I saying?
You are a weak and pathetic fool.
The only thing that the thing that disappointed me the most about Freddy vs. Jason, Freddy being the fucking master of killing that he is,
got one kill.
One fucking kill. Yes, a lot of Jason's kills were awesome, but the fact that they made Freddy the main villain. Yes, Freddy was the villain of the movie, not Jason. Jason was the hero.
Sort of.
Yeah, but if you were to compare the two and make one hero, one villain, Jason was the hero of the two.
Jason's the lesser of two evils. I mean, he wasn't... At first, he was killing those people because he thought, his mother sent him to do it. But then when he learned that Freddy tricked him, he pretty much made it his goal to stop focusing on the kids and just go after Freddy. I mean, yeah, he still killed people, but... That was more or less because they were in the way, and it was sort of like him pushing them out of the way, except instead of pushing them out of the way, just killing them out of the way.
That's all he knows.
Yeah,
his mom fucked his head up so bad, that's all he knows.
Yeah, so really he, in a sense, at first he was kind of the villain, but after a while he sort of became the anti-hero. I mean, yeah, he still killed people but in the second half, but it was more because they were in the way of his objective, Freddy,
Yeah. And also that one girl kind of pissed him off.
I kind of like how Jason was sort of I kind of like the contrast between the two. Yes, they're both monsters, but Freddy was a complete monster. The guy's a child molester, and he was gonna rape that one lady. Thank God, she woke up before he could.
Let me say one thing, all right? When I was watching the new movie. Right?
Oh, doesn't he molest, like, some people?
No. Well, yeah, but listen. Everyone knows the mythology behind Freddy is that he was a child molester, and that's why he was burned. But when they were making the second movie, they actually went a route where, wait, I don't think he is the child molester. He was framed by the kids because the kids were scared. But then, no, they just pull it out of their ass, like, no, he is a child molester. I would have loved it if it was all just a big misunderstanding, and Freddy was actually sympathetic at the end. It would have been such a huge twist, and it would have been great.
Okay, but anyways, we keep getting sidetracked.
I know, but
We're
that's
trying to talk about.
You gotta expect
games.
that from us.
Well, anyways,
we do get back on track though pretty quickly.
Okay, so I did kind of like where Freddy was like a complete monster. Jason had standards. You know, he was more honorable. Like the one girl who was about to be raped by Freddy, but thank God she woke up before that happened. Jason, he pretty much busted. You know, like. Yeah, you know, she woke up, but Freddy, you know, she was touching Freddy when she woke up, so now he's in reality, and he's probably still gonna kill or rape her anyways. But then, like, Jason busts down the door, and part of it's it's pretty much hinted at because she saved Jason from drowning in his nightmare when Freddy was like torturing him in his nightmare. Jason was going out of his way to actually save this girl, like. You know, and I love the expression on Freddy's face. He's like, you know, getting ready to do something to this girl. You know,
he just looks over and sees Jason.
Yeah. Jason busts down the door like, "You son of a bitch!" And Freddy's looking over, and he realizes, "Oh shit, I'm in reality with Jason." And
you actually see fear in Freddy's eyes, which is priceless.
Because he knows he's mortal in this world. The other priceless moment was when Freddy tried kicking him in the nuts, and
Jason's like.
Jason, no reaction. Freddy broke his foot. He's like, "Oh!" And Jason did it again. Jason, like, went out of his way to save her again when Freddy, like, came out of the water with Jason's machete. You know, that brief moment where they trick us into thinking it's Jason, but then we see it's Freddy with Jason's machete. And Jason goes out of his way again. He pops up behind Freddy and impales him with his own clawed arm. Freddy got fingered.
No. If you watch the commentary on that part, you actually hear the director be like, "Hey, Freddy, you want your arm back?"
Freddy got fingered.
All right, back to the crossover, video game crossover.
Well, I was talking about how we got sidetracked because I was using Freddy versus Jason as an example. Most times crossovers. Just ignore the story, because 9 times out of 10 the story's going to be shit, but do you care? You just want to see your favorite characters that you never thought would fight each other. You want to see Batman fight Scorpion. You want to see Godzilla fight King Kong. You want to see Godzilla fight Gamera. Still yet to happen.
I want to see Superman fight Goku and watch Goku kill Superman in one hit. Same thing with the Hulk. One punch, Superman's out.
You know,
I don't like Superman.
Yeah, we get it. I mean, it's kind of weird. The other incarnations of Superman are somewhat interesting, but the incarnation of Superman that everybody knows, you know, the general public knows...
Like the old Superman?
He's just too boring.
He's the good guy.
You know, it's like, God, even Batman, you know, even his standard incarnation, the one everyone knows, even the general public, even people who don't read comics, the one they know... Even he's interesting. Superman, it's like, I have to look at the incarnations that, you know, only comic book geeks would know to find him interesting, you know? Like, the alternate versions of Superman, you know what I mean? God dang it, we're getting sidetracked!
And the DC Universe movies, the animated movies, those Supermen actually are interesting to me. Because, like, yeah, they're good, but they'll actually go out of their way. They actually have more than just, oh, I'm the good guy and I'm always calm and everything. They'll actually get angry and they'll fucking beat the shit out of someone, almost killing them.
But, not most of the times the stories are shit, but you really don't care. You're just there for cheesy, corny fun of seeing the favorite franchises face each other. Although, there are exceptions, and strangely enough, Mortal Kombat vs. DC of all of them was one of those exceptions. It had a damn good story. I could actually see it working. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame it's not canon. I kind of wish it was.
Yeah, as much as I love Marvel vs. Capcom, there's no story. Yeah, okay, everyone has their own little mini endings, and the story is basically, okay, Wesker and Doom accidentally woke up Galactus, who can go between dimensions. That's all it is. That's all the story is.
We're still on the subject of crossovers, right?
Yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom.
Oh, okay.
The game.
Yeah.
Like, there's no story, but hey, it's one of my favorite. It's my favorite fighting franchise.
I'm gonna
of all
be
time.
pissed if this thing didn't record anything.
I know we've talked about so much. We're not even done. Okay, so
I think we're halfway done. We just gotta talk about. Now we just gotta talk about. Oh, goody! My favorite subject: guest fighters.
guest fighters. Let me start this off. All right.
I'll start this off. I love guest fighters. To everybody saying, "Oh my god, they included so and so in this franchise. Now it's ruined." Yeah, one freaking character, or two freaking characters, or three freaking characters. Get over yourself, you fucking baby! 3 characters are not gonna ruin one fucking game for you. Especially if it's downloadable character, because you don't have to download them.
Yeah, let me tell you right now, the king of guest characters, Soul Calibur.
Oh yes, Soul Calibur is notorious for this.
Alright, they have done it perfectly, in my opinion. The first game, I don't think that one had any guest characters.
Soul Calibur is... Honestly, Soul Calibur just wouldn't be Soul Calibur if it didn't have a guest fighter. You know, it's like, at this point, like...
You're wondering who's going to be next.
At this point, I buy Soul Calibur because I want to know who's going to be the next fighter. The next guest fighter.
Like, they had...
I mean, don't get me wrong, it has... I mean, don't get me wrong, I like its original characters. I like its original story. But really, what makes Soul Calibur... I think half of the fun of Soul Calibur is finding out who the next guest fighter is going to be, you know?
I know, they've done
Spawn
console exclusives for each of the consoles, like Spawn, Heihachi, and Link. Spawn made sense because he was originally only on the Xbox, and they brought the PS2 one out for his game. And also because Todd McFarlane loves Xbox so much, which I'm okay with that. Spawn is just... He belongs in Mortal Kombat, in my opinion. Spawn,
they should totally put him in.
He would be fucking perfect. But,
I just watched. One of these days, they're going to have Predator as a guest fighter in Soul Calibur.
I wouldn't see that happen.
Somebody...
Actually, I could see it, because Lizard Man, he plays almost exactly how I envision Alien would play.
Hey, they got Spawn in Soul Calibur, and he's like an M-rated character.
Yeah,
his comic books are pretty damn mature.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Especially considering he's a burn victim.
And friggin', you know what I tell you? They need to just do, I think what they should do is make a horror game. Like a fighting game, horror game, where you get the major stars of horror movies. Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Pinhead, Leatherface, Alien Predator. The major people. And put them in a fucking fighting game all its own. Not based on anything. Yeah. That could be one of the greatest crossover fighting games ever, but that's just another one of those wet dreams.
A wet dream that could be reality.
One day.
If only the damn succubus and vampire that visits me every night in my dreams became reality.
But,
TMI!
Right? So other guest characters. So that's Soul Calibur on the guest phrase. That one it speaks for itself. It wouldn't be Soul Calibur without guest
Actually, interesting enough, about the Freddy Krueger thing, one person posted he thought he'd see Freddy in Soul Calibur before Mortal Kombat.
Because of the blades, yeah. That does make sense. And to tell you the truth, Jason, he fits more in Soul Calibur than he does in Mortal Kombat.
If you think about it, really the one actually, a lot of the guest fighters in Soul Calibur, they all make sense to a certain extent. Like, even ones that don't make sense, at least they make sense weapon-wise. They had, a weapon. The one that didn't make sense was Heihachi.
From what I heard, I never played as Heihachi. I didn't even watch
videos. He has gauntlets.
Yeah, he just has gauntlets.
But, his strongest weapon is his bare fists, called Tekken.
So, it's weird, but, everyone had their own weapon. You had the axe on friggin' what's-his-name on Spawn, and then you had the Master Sword for Link, and then all their other fucking weapons.
Yeah. I find it weird.
Lightsabers.
I find it weird everybody had a Soul Edge, but, like, Link didn't have a Soul Calibur, and it's like, you're kidding. Link's, like, one of the purest characters out there. You think he would have a Soul Calibur.
Every character should have a Soul Edge and a Soul Calibur.
And
I tell you the truth, I wish they would get rid of the design for Soul Edge and Soul Calibur that they have now and go back. They need to go back to Soul Calibur 2 with the designs.
But, yeah, I like guest fighters. I mean, I can see why some people would hate them, but it's like... I can see why people will hate them, but hate guest fighters, but sometimes... I find it annoying when some people just go too far, where they just make a bigger deal out of it than what it really is. Like, you know, especially when it's optional. You don't even have to play the character, or if it's a downloadable, you don't even have to freaking download them.
Yeah, I know. Now, I can understand...
Their argument is that, you know, like, people will just bring them... You know, they still have to deal with it in tournaments, because people are going to use them in tournaments. And it's like, well, then... just fight the people online who are going to use him. You still don't have to download him. You just have to... You don't have to download him and play him to learn his moves. You just got to fight people online who use him to learn his moves and how to counter it. So...
But, I don't know. Guest characters, that's just another one of those... Most of the time, when a guest character is hated, it's not because they don't like guest characters. It's mostly because they only get pissed because it's the character they don't like. Like, a person that's more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars fan, those kind of people were probably pissed about, like, Star Wars characters being included in Soul Calibur. But,
yeah.
I don't know how anyone could hate Spawn. Or Link.
Well, trust me, Link has his haters.
Yeah, everyone has their haters.
You know, Link's gay. Then how come he has a harem of like 20 princesses, a fish lady, a lady from another dimension? Holy crap, Link is a pimp who saves the day. If only all pimps were like him. Nice.
Yeah. Alright, so the guest characters, it's just like crossover games. I can't see them being that bad.
Yeah,
I don't see anything bad with them.
There are a few exceptions. There are like... I tend to like guest fighters. Very rarely do I hate them, and it's only if it's like they really don't make sense. Like, honestly, the only time I really hated a guest fighter was, this is gonna shock you, Yoda and Darth Vader and Starkiller in Soul Calibur 4. Because honestly, it just was weird seeing like swords block lightsabers. I understand.
Well,
I understand it's Soul Calibur. There's swords.
I read the book. It actually tells you why it's happening.
The swords have magical powers. They're powered by souls. I understand that. Some of them are demonic. Some of them are divine swords and all that crap. They have magical properties and all that. But still, it's just weird seeing Yoda take on Talim.
Most likely, even though I can understand the sword blocking, but when that lightsaber hits almost any, I'm not saying any, like some of them, it's gonna cut them in half.
Unless their soul is protecting them.
That's what I always hated. I like games where if you do enough fucking damage, you can cut someone in half.
Wow, this vlog has a lot of fuck in it.
Well, it's gonna be rated, it's gonna be explicit. Deal with it.
Well, we are talking about Mortal Kombat somewhat, so... Derp.
But, so yeah, guest fighters, for me, I like them, and it'd have to be a character... The only time I think a guest character wouldn't work is if they were to put a friggin' M-rated character in an E-rated game. Except Solid Snake, because he did work. I'm talking about a game where... That's
what I loved about Super Smash Brothers.
It was basically a giant crossover.
It was like a giant fan fiction when you played story mode. No, you got like all the before then. It was like all the characters. They were mostly E-rated. Like the highest rating you got was T rating. Like Samus from the Metroid games, but then like all of a sudden comes Solid Snake from M-rated games. And keep in mind these are very serious M-rated games. I mean, for frick's sake, one of the games that explains the origins of him and his two brothers, Solidus Snake and Liquid Snake, talks about abortion. So it felt weird, but at the same time epic having having Snake beat the crap out of Mario and Pikachu.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that works. But I'm talking about
For some reason, a lot of people like to pair Zero Suit Samus with Solid Snake.
I can understand that.
I guess I can kind of see why, because they both wear skin tight suits, and they're it's kind of.
And they're the only ones that really look human.
And it's kind of fan servicey. I mean, it pretty much is fan servicey. Ask any girl who plays Metal Gear Solid, they'll admit they stare at Raiden and Snake's ass. Zero Suit Samus, same thing with the guys. Actually, those two are actually proof that you can have your character fully clothed and it would still be fetish fuel. Because they're wearing leather that's so tight, it's like they might as well be wearing nothing at all. It's like Taki. She's not she's not showing anything, but because of how tight it is, we see the shape of her body. So it's like she might as well be wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
All right.
Nothing at all. Stupid Simpsons meme.
All right, so
I like guest fighters.
Guest fighters work.
I like them.
Most of the topics we talk about today, except for Sony's shit, I like. This is stuff I like.
Yeah.
Next
biggest. Actually, that was all of them. That was pretty much all of them. Crossovers, DLCs, exclusives, and guest fighters. Now the biggest, and the controversy of it. Now we kind of touched on it. We didn't quite get in there. Let's get in the controversy of guest fighters, and I think the best way to do this is just to talk about Freddy frickin' Krueger in Mortal Kombat.
The whole reason that we're making this is, yes, because of Freddy Krueger.
Well, part of it.
He was the thing that inspired this, so let's get to him. Freddy Krueger works.
Yeah,
That's all I can really say.
I don't get these people who say he doesn't work in Mortal Kombat, because it's like, Mortal Kombat, come on, Mortal Kombat is known for dark humor, and it's cartoony and all that. Look at Freddy Krueger, kind of the same thing, I find it, I really do find it ridiculous. People are like, he doesn't fit in. And one person, I think, said it best. Freddy Krueger, he pretty much said this. I'm going to have Freddy Krueger fight Scarlet. A nightmare person fighting a female ninja made out of blood. And you guys are saying he doesn't make sense? Crap, if anything, Freddy makes too much sense in Mortal Kombat.
Out of every single guest character possible, he makes the most sense.
Hey, guys, it could have been worse. It could have been Ryu from Street Fighter.
It actually could have been. It actually was really close to that happening.
Because Ed Boon is a huge fan of Street Fighter, and he's talked about for years that he wants to do a Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, which is going to happen, by the way. It is going to happen, people. It might not be 2 years from now. It might not be 3 years from now. It might not be 5 years from now. It might not even be 10 years from now. But mark my words. Mark my words. Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat is gonna happen.
I'm actually hoping they do the Tekken X Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, two versions.
Where one plays like Street Fighter, one plays like Mortal Kombat. But please, don't do what Tekken X Street Fighter and Street Fighter X Tekken do. Make it where both games have the same exact characters. Don't make it where one's got 80% Mortal Kombat and 20% Street Fighter, and then the opposite on the other game. Make it where it's 50-50, like MVC. It's 50-50. Never more of one than the other. Unless you count Galactus, then there's one more Marvel. Yeah. But he's a boss and you can't play as him.
Real quick.
That's actually a controversy to me, too.
Kind of, what?
Boss characters being playable.
Oh, yeah. That's actually, now that you mention it, kind of off topic, but even if he wasn't playable, I would have been happy if Motaro was fightable in the Mortal Kombat 9, because honestly, that was one of the things I was really looking forward to, and it was like the biggest disappointment. We don't get to fight Motaro. I don't care. I mean, don't get me wrong. It'd be cool to play as Motaro, but at the end of the day, I really don't care if we got to play him or not. It'd be cool if we could, and I would play as Motaro. But if not, I still would have been okay with that as long as we actually got to fight Motaro. That was the one thing I was looking forward to in the new Mortal Kombat. And
tell you the truth, out of all the bosses, the only two I actually want to play as, or three actually, I want to play as Blaze, Mataro, because he's the only one that actually looks interesting out of the bosses, and
Actually, I thought
Onaga. Those are the only bosses
yeah.
from Mortal Kombat I would ever want to play as.
But yeah, I was disappointed we didn't get to fight Mataro. I understand why they said, you know, because he's, you know, shaped, half of him is shaped like a horse. It would have taken extra time to like get him to work, you know, and all that crud. It would have taken extra time to get him to work, and they didn't have enough time. Like even as a DLC, they didn't even.
And even if he ever does get in the game, I guarantee you, if he's ever in the game, he's gonna be one of the characters you can never do You can never do fatalities. X-rays and fatalities will never be able to be done on him.
X-rays is kind of a no-brainer, because you can't do X-rays on Shao Kahn and Kentaro and Goro, but then again, you could do it on Shang Tsung, and he's technically a boss, and Shiva. But no, I understand why we didn't get to fight Mataro. You know, it was kind of too hard to get him to work, and they were running out of time. Yeah. But they said maybe next game we'll get to fight him, or he'll even play as him. And I'm hoping they actually go through with it next time. I'm hoping next time we actually get to fight Mataro in a boss fight. Yeah, it was kind of disappointing seeing him being reduced to a cameo. Granted, an important plot device, but still a cameo.
Yeah, they could have easily just had him be a character that just sits in the background,
and
Chameleon,
has no relevance to the story at all.
Chameleon is the greatest crossover character ever. Because he is a crossover in himself. Both of them.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't really care for female Chameleon because she doesn't really have as much powers.
Well, there's only so many female ninjas.
Like, she would become a lot more awesome if they added Scarlet's powers. Because technically, Scarlet is one of the female ninjas. But
she's not a ninja, she's a Lin Kuei. I'm joking. What's the difference? What, Lin Kuei's just a ninja of a ninja? Is that the Well, anyways, yeah, I saw people throwing a shit fit about, you know, Freddy Krueger, and I'm like, truthfully, I knew Freddy was going to make it in. I just didn't think he was going to be the fourth DLC. I thought the fourth DLC was going to be someone else, and they were going to save Freddy for October, like Jason. I'm still convinced they're going to put Jason in Mortal Kombat later on.
I'm convinced that it's going to be Ash, but we'll find out if anything happens.
You know, I'm like Ed Boon said, you know, depending on how well the first batch of DLC do, they might do a second.
They've done really well.
they might do a second batch of DLC, but honestly, I think they already planned on doing a second batch of DLC with a few more Mortal Kombat characters, both old and new, and
Cyber Smoke.
both old and new, and another guest fighter. And I'm thinking it's going to be Jason, or it could be Ash. But I think it's
it could be someone we don't even expect.
I think it's going to be Jason. But then again, for as we know, it could be both. It could be Jason and Ash.
And Predator. That's another. I still think Predator would work. He'd work perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Alien
wouldn't make as much sense, but it'd still work.
Alien could kind of work, because, I mean, Reptile's kind of reduced to an animal now.
Yeah, I know, but he's not. It's the way Alien walks. And Alien is more of the crawly type character.
Well, maybe it's the Queen Alien.
If it was the Queen Alien and they just made her smaller, yeah, I would love that. Cause you never get to play as the Queen Alien in anything except for that RTS style game, which was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so people were bitching about that, and it's actually people were bitching about Kratos as well, and
yeah, Kratos is just part. Kratos, I don't care that Kratos was in the game. Period. Because I understand people don't like Kratos. I do. I liked Kratos. I loved his games. I love Kratos.
I like the games. I don't like the character.
I like the character, and I love that they added him. Now, I've already talked about how I feel about the other half of the equation, but that was earlier in the video.
Well, hold on. Going back to that real quick. Just real quick, going back to that. Yeah, a lot of people make arguments that, you know, of course he's going to be exclusive to the PS3 because all of his games are on they're only on Sony-owned consoles, so that makes sense. Not true. I mean, look at the Metal Gear Solid games today. The Metal Gear Solid games today, they're pretty much exclusive to Sony. guess what?
They're moving to Xbox.
No. I'm saying, like, Metal Gear Solid 4 is exclusive to PlayStation 3.
For now. It's coming out on Xbox.
Okay, but it was exclusive to PlayStation 3. Guess what? Solid Snake made a guest appearance. He made an appearance as a guest fighter along with Sonic in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, a Nintendo exclusive console.
Yeah.
They pretty much put a character whose games at the time were exclusive to the PlayStation 3 into another game as a guest fighter who is pretty much is breaking the theme of the game, because the whole theme is Nintendo characters, and Snake's not a Nintendo character. I mean, he's been on Nintendo, but he's not a Nintendo character. But they're taking a character whose game at the time was exclusive to PS3. I'm talking about Metal Gear Solid 4, and putting him in a game that's exclusive for Nintendo, the Super Smash Bros. Brawl. So really, whenever people use that argument around me, whenever people use that argument around me, Kratos is, of course, they're not going to put Kratos in the Xbox version because, all of his games were on the PS3. I call bull on it because I'm like, it doesn't matter if all of his games are on the PS3. He should have still been a guest fighter on the Xbox version.
Here's the counter argument to that. Nintendo paid a shit ton of money to Sony to get him.
Oh, no.
How did they get it then?
Hideo Kojima begged Nintendo. I know.
Well, then Hideo Kojima's different. The other people at Sony,
I know.
They paid. Like, you can actually find reports. Sony
I know.
pays the other company to make sure Xbox doesn't get anything.
Like,
that's what
No. Nintendo paid Sonic. Nintendo paid Sega to get Sonic in there. But with Solid Snake, normally you think it'd be the other way around. Nintendo begging Sony to let them put Solid Snake in their game and saying, we'll pay a lot of money. But instead, it was the other way around. Hideo Kojima, the guy who made Metal Gear Solid, the guy who made Solid Snake, is begging Nintendo to put Solid Snake in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I could imagine how the president at Nintendo was like. He's like, did I step in Bizarro World where instead of Nintendo begging for things from other game companies are begging things from Nintendo? I can imagine his reaction. He's like, is this a reverse world, where Nintendo's the one who makes all the money and Sony's the poor one?
Alright, but thing is, though, I can't speak for Kojima, but I've read a lot of the reports where they actually purposely said, we want exclusivity. If we have to pay more money to make sure that Xbox can't get something, we will do it. You can look on the internet. You can find reports. They don't say it that dickish, but basically the summarize of some of their reports is that we paid more money so that only we could get a character and Xbox would be left without. Like, we made sure that Xbox would not.
Play.
So yeah, that's what I hate about Sony. Now, the fact that I think the whole Solid Snake thing was just a one-off thing. I'm pretty sure if Sony gets their way, it's not going to stay that way.
Well, there was also this I know it's not a fighting game, but there was this basketball game that was like exclusive.
That one was odd too.
It was exclusive to the PlayStation 2, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but it was exclusive to PlayStation 2, and yet you could unlock Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach and play
that
them.
was before they became assholes.
But my point is, you could unlock them and play as them. So
yeah.
I think my argument, not to say your argument's not valid, it is valid, but I think my argument is still valid as well. Just because a character's games are exclusive to one console doesn't mean the character himself is exclusive to that console. He can still show up as a guest fighter in another game on another console. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the only thing I hate about Sony, I don't hate Sony, period. I just hate Sony from the last 3 to 5 years. That's it.
But, you get what
I understand all the other stuff. I understand how it's possible. It's just the way things have been going, it's not gonna happen.
But you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you understand what I'm saying, though. Just, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, just because a character's game is exclusive on one console doesn't mean the character himself has to be exclusive to that console. He can still show up on another console as a guest fighter in a fighting game on that console.
It's just a matter of whether the company will allow it.
Exactly. I think if Sony allowed it, Kratos could have easily been in the Xbox version of Mortal Kombat.
But we know how they feel about it, and they've said no, so...
You know, I mean, we're lucky we got Darth Vader on the Xbox version.
Yeah. Well, they had no say in it.
So...
Sony had no say on what character stayed in there. Now, if like, let's say, like how Kratos was in the PSP version...
Yeah.
That they had a say over that, because they owned the character. But Sony doesn't own LucasArts characters.
I mean, crap, but somehow they managed to get Joker gameplay exclusive in Batman Arkham Asylum.
I don't understand how that happened.
I don't understand how that happened either. I'm guessing whoever they bribed with money...
They did something to get Joker exclusive.
I'm guessing whoever bribed with...
I want Riddler playable.
Okay, I'm guessing whoever bribed with money, just whoever they were bribing with money just couldn't, subside their greed. They just had to do it. They had to take the money. But
Rocksteady probably needed the money.
I'm pretty sure if Sony had allowed it, Kratos could have easily been on both versions of, he could have been in the Xbox version as a guest fighter too, and people wouldn't bat an eye at it because they'd be like, well, it's not the first time it happened. They did it with Solid Snake in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and he's kind of exclusive to Sony now. I mean, yeah, he was on Nintendo in the old days, but now he's kind of like Final Fantasy. He's kind of exclusive to Sony right now, for now.
Yeah, I can't wait for Ryzen now.
So, yeah, I think no, you know what? It's not I think. I know it could have been done. It's just that I know it could have been done. It's just that Sony didn't want to do it. If Sony was okay with doing it, I guarantee you it could have been done. I guarantee you it would have been done if Sony was okay with it. Hey, can we put Kratos on the Xbox version too? Sure, go ahead. But no, Sony just didn't want to do that. It's kind of weird that Nintendo was willing to let, Princess Peach, Luigi, and Mario be playable on a PlayStation 2 exclusive, in that basketball game.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, now, crap, part of me kind of wishes we had a M-rated character from Nintendo show up in Mortal Kombat, but really, we don't have any. I mean, we got Pius Augustus, but he's kind of slow. I mean, he's slower than Jason.
Well, David, do you have any?
No, I can cut it out.
No.
We don't have anything.
So, close the door.
It's just that I don't want you to come on.
Alright.
So, I think it could have been done. But, I mean, a lot of people are throwing a shit fit over Freddy being a guest fighter. I think it's because they were disappointed that their favorite character wasn't, the fourth DLC. A lot of people wanted Tanya. A lot of people wanted Blaze or Matoro.
Yeah, I understand that people were expecting. People didn't get what they were expecting. But you know what? I'm not part of the game company. I have no say on what they do. I take what's new. They're giving me something new. Something that's not already in the game. Something that'll make the game last a little longer.
Yeah.
For me, that is a bonus. Alright? Even if it was a character I don't like. I'll tell you right now, I don't like Rain. Alright?
Rain.
I don't. But I'm glad he's in the game.
He's fun.
I didn't like Genshi. Now I'm fucking glad he's in the game. Scarlet, I'm glad she's in the game because she's new for everyone.
New.
Like, whether they're in the game or not.
Wacky inflatable blood lady. I'm sorry, I just had to do it.
Whether they're from the future or the past of Mortal Kombat, it's still a new character in the game. Which means that it's something different, which I love. So, Freddy being in the game is not only new to Mortal Kombat, he's new to the franchise. Which is a double bonus for me.
Bonus!
So I am happy he's in the game, and nothing anyone says or does will change my mind. And from the gameplay footage I've seen, he looks like a blast to play. So unless that footage was all faked and he sucks like hell, there's no way I'm going to be disappointed from Freddy.
Yeah, I don't even like Freddy, and I want to play as him because it looks like fun. You know,
I
don't like the character, but I like his fighting style. It looks a lot of fun.
The only thing I don't like is I love his first fatality. Oh my! Hold on. I love his first fatality in the game, and it's just awesome. It's the one where he pulls them down to hell and just blood comes up.
I like the furnace.
The furnace. That was more of a classic fatality.
No, the blood one was a classic one too. Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's death.
Bed.
That was the whole reason they chose.
I'm not gonna lie. I was happy that happened to Cabal. I fucking hate that guy and his fucking raging dash move.
And I love that. And the furnace, even though it's not the greatest fatality, it's classic. Because that's how he died, I think, in the first movie. Well, one of the first movies, the earlier movies. He died in a furnace.
It was the fourth one.
It was Dream Master. Or no. Yeah, it was Dream Master how he died. And it was awesome. Now, I don't know what else they could do. You know what? Actually, you know what would be awesome? Every time you play on the pit stage, right? Instead of it just spikes, the spikes they land on has a bed under it. Because in one of the movies, the guy fell onto a bed of spikes on a mattress.
No.
That would be awesome.
All right, but
all right. Yeah, I think we should start putting this to a close.
A lot of people were upset about Freddy, and at first I thought it was most of the Mortal Kombat fans, but then somebody made a poll asking people how they felt about this, and a lot of people say, I love it, and a lot of people said, I hate it, and a lot of people said, I don't know how to feel about this, and a lot of people said, laughing my ass off. So, I think a lot more Mortal Kombat fans are actually in support of Freddy Krueger than what it seems like. It's just that the people who are in support of Freddy Krueger, a lot of them are not as vocal about it as the people who hate it because they're afraid of getting flamed. Although I will salute the few brave souls out there who they've got Freddy Krueger SIGs or avatars, and some of them have like the troll face on them, like Freddy Krueger's the ultimate troll.
Let me tell you something.
Ed Boon just trolled us all. Actually, honestly, I thought Jason would be... At one point, I thought Jason would be the fourth DLC. I thought Jason would come before Freddy. Mark my words. I think Jason is going to be in the second lineup of downloadable characters, along with, like...
I would not be against it.
Along with Blaze, and if Cyber Smoke isn't if he's not a skin, if he's not the skin, because they still haven't told us who the last skin is. We just know that there's unmasked Sub-Zero. If he's not a skin, I guarantee you he'll be in the second batch of downloadables. Tremor's a nice idea, but I'm not sure if he'll make it. A lot of fans have been asking him for years, but Ed Boon keeps delaying it. Ed Boon's like the ultimate troll. Honestly, I think one person brought up something interesting. He thinks part of the reason why Freddy got so much hate for being the fourth DLC is because NetherRealm kind of went the wrong way of bringing him in. Because if it was a Halloween downloadable, I guarantee you a lot of people would have been in support of this. They would have found this to be freaking hilarious. Because it would have been like kind of in theme with both Mortal Kombat and Halloween. Freddy Krueger and Jason. So really, I think the only problem was just,
they got the timing wrong.
They got the timing wrong, and the fourth DLC should have just either been a new character or just a classic character that a lot of people have been asking for, like Shinnok or Tanya or
Tell you the truth,
Cyber Smoke.
I don't want Tanya. All right.
I do. I want to eat those drumsticks. Yum 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 yum.
I think Shinnok would be out of the people you just mentioned. Shinnok I think would be really good because I don't know much about Shinnok.
I think they're saving him for the next game.
I understand that, yeah, but I'd still like to see him, like an early sneak preview at the next game.
God dang it!
All right, yeah. So
I just died at it. So I like the swirls on Rain's new redesign.
Wow, he just sat there, didn't do anything to you, even though he could have easily just punched you or killed you.
But so really, like, guest fighters divide the fan base. Like TV Tropes puts it best. Guest fighters divide the fan base. Half of, like, a lot of fans will love them because they're fish out of water, and a lot of fans will hate them because they're fish out of water. And from what I've seen with Freddy, it seems like there's almost an equal amount of people for it, people against it, and people who don't know how to feel about it, and people who are just indifferent about it. So pretty much like almost 25% for like all four options. You know what I mean? I think Freddy fits in fine. You know, and the people bitching about the claw thing, it's like, come on, it would look weird if Freddy changes his stance and he only has a claw in one hand.
And plus, gameplay-wise, he just would not be that great.
Yeah, he'd be punching with one hand and scratching with the other. And also, come on, I haven't seen it, but I heard there's one movie where we see Freddy has, like, a whole room that's filled with a collection of, like, many claws. And
I'm pretty sure it's New Nightmare.
All of them of different sizes and shapes.
Not sure, though.
You know, and designs, so it's like...
It was a prop room.
So, it's not far-fetched to say Freddy would have more than one exact replica of this claw just made for the other hand, you know?
Yeah, I always would love to see Freddy. I think that'd be awesome. If Freddy was in Mortal Kombat, it'd be awesome to see different varieties of his claws.
No, if he was in Soul Calibur, I could actually see them having different...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean.
Okay, that's what you meant.
That's what I meant. What did I say?
I could see him having different versions of his claws in Soul Calibur, you know.
What would be cool is having one on each hand, like this variety on this hand, this variety on this hand.
Or like Hilda, you know how like she had one large spear in one hand and a small spear in the other?
Yeah.
Have like a large claw in one hand and a small claw in another, you know.
Like just choose. Like it would be an option, like left hand and right hand.
Like, I mean, like, Link, he didn't always have to have a sword. You could play as him with using just a mirror shield and a hammer, or using a shield and a butterfly net. Or there was, like, one with the Big Goron sword. It was so big. Wait, no, the Great Fairy sword. He didn't even have a shield. He just had the sword, because it's so freaking huge. So, really, guest fighters divide... Yeah, like I said before, they divide the fan base. Some people love them, some people hate them. It's kind of interesting because they probably made it's a lot of people who did not pick up Mortal Kombat are now picking it up just for Freddy Krueger alone. So it's almost like they're selling the game again. Like it's almost like the game's been re-released again, like a second release date. So they're probably making a crap ton of money off of Freddy alone. And that's kind of a good thing, because that means, you know, more money to work on the next game, and also more time to work on the next game, because more people are going to be preoccupied with this game now that Freddy's in. And I'm pretty sure they're going to try, after seeing how many people buy this just for Freddy alone, I'm pretty sure they're going to try the same thing again with the Jason fans sometime in October. And hopefully, we'll have, like, other Mortal Kombat characters along with Jason, both old and new. I really want to see new characters. Scarlet, I think, is a wonderful addition. I think she's awesome.
Freddy,
then again, I kind of have a little crush on her. I'll admit it. I for some reason, I tend to lean towards the evil chicks sometimes. Lucy. Well, only 2 people out there got that reference. La 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 la.
5 people just got the reference.
It's Elfin Lead. It's freaking Elfin.
12 people got the reference.
Yeah, I'm totally up for guest fighter. I guarantee you, if there's one franchise that people would love guest fighters for, but it's probably never going to happen because the company is just too anal about it, people would love to have Gamera and King Kong be guest fighters in a Godzilla game.
King Kong, I can take or leave, because King Kong's good, but he's one
King
of my...
Kong can...
He's a lower kaiju.
Gamera, unfortunately, with Gamera and Ultraman... With Ultraman and Gamera, Toho was too anal about them. They probably would never allow them to be guest fighters. But then again, they had a soccer game with Godzilla, Ultraman, Gundam.
I think that Ultraman needs to come out to America.
Oh, yeah.
The Ultraman game, that was...
I want to play that.
That actually looked
I
fun.
would import that and pay $200 to get my...
You would actually need the system, too, imported. Because it won't work on an English system.
Or just have it modded. You have to pay someone to mod it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that. I would actually get another system. Because
the
modding one could fuck up your current system.
But, like I said, Toho's just too anal about Ultraman and Gamera. They probably would never allow them to be in a Godzilla game. Although they did that weird crossover game where it was basically just Gundam mascots, Godzilla mascots, and Ultraman mascots playing soccer. But that wasn't a fighting game, so that don't count.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know what they were thinking.
It's Japan. They're on drugs.
No, it's
Sorry, Japan, but it's true.
No. It's Japan. The crazier it is, the more
likely people are gonna buy it.
The more I think with Japan, the whole fad is the crazier it is, the better. You know, although with King Kong, I can definitely King Kong is a strong possibility. Toho is not anal about King Kong being in a Godzilla game because
he was already in.
Because we had King Kong versus Godzilla, and they've tried several times to get King Kong in a fighting game, a Godzilla fighting game. They tried several times to get him as a guest fighter. The problem is, Universal's charging way too much money for just one monster. I mean, all the monsters they've put in Godzilla games, all of them combined, all the monsters that Toho owns that they put in a Godzilla game, it's not even close to the amount of money it would cost to put King Kong in there. Basically, Universal's charging like $1 million for King Kong. Toho only charges like $15,000 for their Godzilla characters, each one of them. Now, there were 23 in Unleash. I'm not good at math, but I took a calculator. That's nowhere even close to $1 million. I understand Universal doesn't want to charge $1,500 because if you do the math, then Toho would be making more money than Universal, because Universal only has one monster, while Toho has 23. But charging $1 million for one character, Universal's making more money than Toho did for their 23 that they charged. So, yeah. But, yeah, I would like to have, I would like to have King Kong, Ultraman, and Gamera be guest fighters in a Godzilla game. I think the fandom would welcome it. Yeah, there would be a few people against it, but you know what? There's always people against something. But I guarantee you, there'd be a lot more people for it than there were people for Freddy in Mortal Kombat. Or should I say, there would be a lot more people for Gamera, Ultraman, and King Kong in a Godzilla fighting game than there were people against Freddy being in Mortal Kombat, Mark my words, Jason will be in Mortal Kombat.
We'll find out. Mark my words, Mr. Toots will be in Saints Row. No, actually, I will go to their office and strangle Jay Goldberg until he puts him in the game. No, I'm not going to do that, Jay. I'm not joking.
He's
I'm not going to do that.
Well, yeah, anyways.
But I will come to you and I will beg you on hand and foot to please put him in the game.
I'm waiting for them to... What with them doing an American remake of Godzilla? Legendary Pictures is doing an American remake of Godzilla. And no, it's not going to be that crappy one from 1998. It's going to be the actual Godzilla. And we don't know when it's coming out. Originally it was planned 2012, but now it's pretty clear it's not coming out 2012. At earliest, it's going to be 2013. It's probably going to come out 2014.
They need to make room for Avengers anyway.
With news of that, I'm pretty sure that it's only a matter of time before we hear news of a new Godzilla game. And I'm planning on making a petition to get a character called Zone Fighter to be a playable character in there, because Zone Fighter is basically, to be blunt about it, he's Toho's ripoff of Ultraman. But the thing is, Zone Fighter would actually work in a Godzilla fighting game because one, Toho actually owns them, and two, Godzilla actually guest starred in Zone Fighter. Godzilla showed up in 5 episodes of Zone Fighter, King Ghidorah showed up in 2, and Gigan showed up in 1. And Zone Fighter killed Gigan. So Zone Fighter technically is part of the Godzilla mythos, kind of like King Kong. So, and plus, we need new blood. We need new blood in the Godzilla games. Don't get me wrong, it's cool to play Mecha Godzilla, but we need to play someone new. So,
and since the series hasn't had any new movies in a while, and it's not gonna for a while, we
might as well try and get Zone Fighter in there and
at least try to get some of the characters that haven't been in a game.
Hedorah, 70s Godzilla
with
Monster his freaking crazy powers. Monster X,
Mecha Gigan. please.
Oh, the chainsaws?
Mecha Gigan, yeah. I want him so bad.
He's basically talking about Final Wars Gigan update, with the chainsaw
Yeah, but
arms.
if you actually look him up, a lot of people call him Mecha Gigan, and I go with that name.
Also, Kamanga. We need
Kamanga could work. I still think they should update him and turn him into a scorpion.
Yeah, well...
He would be even better.
Anyways, but Zone Fighter could work as a guest fighter because, hey, Godzilla, Gigan, and King Ghidorah already showed up as guest fighters in his TV show. Might as well have Zone Fighter show up as guest fighter in a Godzilla game. And it's a lot easier because he's not owned by a separate company. They don't have to ask, So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, guys, if you ever see a video of me, if you ever see a video for Please Get Zone Fighter in the new Godzilla game, if you see something like that come up, do me a favor, like the video, put in the comments we want Zone Fighter in the game, and go in the link, because I guarantee you, I'll have a link in the description box taking you to a petition, and I want you to sign a petition to get Zone Fighter in there, because we need new blood.
Yeah, I don't have, one of those outer website petitions. I actually have a petition in the actual, website, because that's where they're going to look the most, is in their forum.
Yeah, but I can't read Japanese, because...
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's, mine. If you want, that's another thing. It's easy to sign up for forums, so if you want... Sign up for the forum, click on the link in my video, which there will be a link to my video, if of course wants to. There will be a link, and just click on it, and in the link of that, in the description of that video...
Are you gonna be in support of Zone Fighter being there?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, you want new blood too, huh?
I'll be supporting Zone Fighter.
You know what? I think it would be more successful if I also include, Hedorah and 70s Godzilla get in there, because a lot of people want those two in there. We've never... Because 70s Godzilla, he doesn't fight like the other Godzillas. He knows Kung Fu, he flies, he turns into a freaking magnet, and,
One of the things you have to remember with petitions, though, you want to make sure that your goal is for one character, but you're hoping for these other ones. Because if you're just going for everyone, it's not going to happen.
Well, okay.
You want to make sure that they know...
My main goal is to get Zone Fighter in there, but it'd be awesome to get Hedorah in there, because... Hedorah's the big one. Everybody, including you and me, have been wanting to get him in a game for a while. He's only been in one game, and we never got to play it.
I think he could be very interesting. Some of his powers are very unique.
And it'd be cool. It'd be cool if they could finally pull off that T-1000 thing they were trying to do. Where he's kind of like living liquid.
T-1000 for Mortal Kombat.
Hey, you stole that from me.
It would work though. You know it.
Yeah, it'd be like.
Could so work.
Scarlet versus T-1000. Who wins?
That'd actually be kind of cool. No, it would actually be really cool. You know, when Scarlet kills someone, you see the blood going up her leg. You would just see liquid metal going up her leg.
And her highlight turns silver.
Yeah, and you see liquid metal going up her leg. It's like, wait, that means he's still alive.
Oh, but still, it'd be cool to see her highlight turn silver.
Actually, only a few characters could kill him. What would happen if you were to put his face in the lava?
Oh, he's dead. Woo! That motherfucker dead.
No, it's just his face, though. The rest of his body's still
all right. Well, that's pretty much my view on guest fighters. I support them. Yeah, most of the times. Sometimes I hate them. It depends on who the guest fighter is.
I'm good with them as long as they're
not stupid.
As long as they fit in some way and they make sense. As long as they're they don't even have to make sense most of the time. As long as they go along with a good theme.
Yeah.
Rocket Raccoon. Anyone who understands that knows what I mean.
Alright, so
yeah, we're cutting this to a close.
Yeah. Put Mr. Toots in Saints Row. Put Zone Fighter in a Godzilla fighting game. And mark my words, Jason will be in Mortal Kombat.
You hear that, Ed? Coming for you.
And mark my words, Mataro will be
MK10.
will be fightable in MK10.
Alright, so
yeah.
That's all we really have to say about our subjects.
We've been talking for quite a while.
I don't know how long it is. You know, you've been watching.
Oh, 2 hours. Well, I only meant for this to be an hour.
Good video.
Alright, well.
Alright, goodbye everybody.
Bye-bye. You wanna watch a movie?
How long's the Prince of Darkness?